Olajumoke, soft-spoken, obedient, a woman molded by the firm, loving hands of Mama Bisi, a mother whose faith in God was as unshakable as the rocky hills of Ibadan. Mama Bisi had raised her daughter with one unyielding mantra: virtue is a woman's greatest crown. And tonight, on the eve of her wedding, Olajumoke was preparing to carry that crown into a new chapter. The room was quiet. The lights from a single kerosene lamp flickered, casting dancing shadows on the walls, adorned with family photographs and scripture verses. Kneeling by her bedside, Olajumoke clutched her well-worn Bible, her fingers trembling as she whispered a solemn prayer. Lord, I've kept myself for this moment, have walked the path you set before me, endured the temptations of the world, and honored my parents. Bless this union, Father. Let my husband love and cherish me as I've prepared to love and honor him. Help me to be a good wife. Give me the strength to build a home that pleases you. Amen. Her voice faltered as she closed her prayer, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, not of fear, but of hope. Olajumoke, marriage wasn't just a union for her, it was her life's fulfillment. Everything she had been taught pointed to this moment as the pinnacle of her worth. Across the room, Mama Bisi stood silently, her hands clasped in front of her, watching her daughter with pride and a trace of worry. Her face was etched with the wisdom of years, her head wrapped in a vibrant gele that seemed to radiate authority. Slowly, she stepped forward and placed a gentle hand on Olajumoke's shoulder. My daughter, she began, her voice firm but tender. Tomorrow, you will leave this house and enter another. Remember, marriage is not just about you, it's about family, society, and God. A good wife keeps her home together no matter the storm. And you, Olajumoke, is the kind of woman men dream about. Never forget where you come from. Olajumoke looked up at her mother, her heart swelling with both reassurance and pressure. She nodded, her lips forming a quiet, yes, Mama. The next morning, the city buzzed with the anticipation of her wedding day. Aunties in colorful Asoebi attire debated loudly about the correct way to tie gele. Cousins danced to the rhythm of Yoruba talking drums, while children chased each other, their laughter echoing through the compound. Inside, Olajumoke sat on a low stool as her mother and elder sister prepared her. The air was thick with the aroma of jollof rice being cooked in giant pots outside. You are beautiful, my dear, Mama Bisi said, carefully adjusting the golden beads on Olajumoke's coral necklace. Kunle is a blessed man to have you. As the final touches were made, Olajumoke's thoughts wandered to her friends, Titi and Funke. They had teased her endlessly about her decision to remain a virgin. She could still hear their voices echoing in her mind. Jumoke, why do you take life so seriously? Funke had laughed during one of their late night conversations in college. Do you think men even care about all this purity talk? Titi, always the blunt one, had added, life isn't as perfect as you think, Olajumoke. Men are not angels. Don't build your dreams on their faithfulness. But Olajumoke had waved them off, a conviction unshaken. I'm not doing this for men. I'm doing this for myself, for my family, and for God. Now, as she prepared to walk down the aisle, she wondered, fleetingly, if her friends were right. But she quickly dismissed the thought. Her upbringing had promised her that Sacrifice and obedience would lead to a perfect marriage. She was confident her faithfulness would be rewarded. As she walked down the aisle, her eyes glistened with hope, her lips trembling as she silently prays, "This is it, Lord. Guide me." Kunle and Olajumoke enjoyed their honeymoon. They walked hand in hand. Their laughter mingles with the gentle crashing of waves. Kunle, ever the charmer, whispers sweet words as they sit by a candlelight dinner table, the ocean breeze teasing their faces. "You are everything I prayed for, Jumoke," he says, his eyes locked on hers. Olajumoke blushes, her heart swelling with hope. She believes this moment had the foundation of a lifetime of happiness. But within the beauty, cracks begin to form, almost visible. At first, it's subtle. Kunle brushing off Olajumoke's choice of restaurant or dismissing her opinions on minor details. "Don't worry about it," he says with a laugh. "I've got this." They are now back in their new home in Ibadan. Olajumoke stands in the living room, trying to fold the fabric she picked out during the honeymoon. "Kunle," she says with excitement, holding up the fabric. "I was thinking we could hang this in the living room. They will match the couch perfectly." Kunle, seated on the couch with his phone in the hand, glances at her briefly. I will handle it. Don't worry. Just focus on being a good wife," he replies, casually, his tone dismissive. The words sting, but Olajumoke hides her disappointment. Her mother's advice echoes in her mind. Men are leaders. Let them lead. She swallows her feelings, convincing herself that Kule's intentions are good. Determined to be the perfect wife, Olajumoke throws herself into her new role. Early mornings are spent preparing Kule's favorite meals: egusi soup, freshly pounded yam, and steaming bowls of rice. She keeps the home spotless, ensuring every corner reflects the care she puts in their life together. But there's this quiet pain in her eyes as Kunle barely acknowledges her efforts. He eats in silence. His focus is on his phone. Thanks, he mumbles occasionally without looking up. Still, Olajumoke holds on to hope. She remembers her mother's stories of how patience and prayer had seen her own marriage through at times. It's just a phase, she tells herself. He is adjusting to the married life too. One evening, the clock strikes 10 p.m. The dinner table is set, the food now cold. Olajumoke paces in the living room, her eyes darting to the door with every passing second. Finally, she hears Kunle's car pull into the driveway. The door opens and Kunle steps in, his tie slightly loosened, his shirt slightly wrinkled, but something else lingers in the air, a faint scent of perfume, unfamiliar and unsettling. "Kunle," Olajumoke begins hesitantly, her voice soft but edged with worry. "Where were you? I waited for you." "Work," he replies curtly, avoiding her gaze as he walks past her into the bedroom, leaving Olajumoke confused, hurt, and in doubt. She follows him into the room, her hands ringing nervously. "Kunle," she says again, her tone more pleading now. "I made dinner. I thought we could eat together." "I'm not hungry," he says flatly, pulling off his shoes. Olajumoke climbs into the bed without another word as Kunle stands in the doorway. The silence between them feels like a chasm, growing wider with every passing moment. The next morning, Olajumoke prepares breakfast as Kunle gets ready for work. She watches him from the kitchen, hoping he will say something, anything that reassures her. But Kunle is absorbed in his phone, typing furiously as he sips his coffee. Before leaving, he places a quick kiss on her forehead. See you tonight, he says, already halfway out the door. The door shuts as Olajumoke stands in the empty kitchen. Her hands grip the edge of the counter, her knuckles turning white. She breathes deeply, willing herself to push away the growing unease. Maybe I'm overthinking, she whispers to herself, her voice barely audible over the hum of the refrigerator as she whispers, is it really just a face? Or is there more to Kunle's distance that meets the eye? Olajumoke and her friends reunite. Titi and Funke, vibrant as ever. Titi waves a hand dramatically as she recounts a funny moment from their university days. And Funke laughs. They sound loud and unrestrained, drawing curious glances from nearby tables. Olajumoke, smiling faintly but with a quietness that doesn't quite fit the occasion. She watches her friends, lost in their carefree energy, a contrast to the heaviness she has been carrying. Ha, Jumoke, Funke exclaims, her voice dripping with mock surprise. Still the good girl, eh? You haven't changed one bit. Titi joins in, wagging a playful finger. Always the angel of the group, Mrs. Perfect. How is married life now? Kule must be treating you like a queen. For a moment, Olajumoke's smile falters, but she quickly masks it. She stirs her coffee, absent-mindedly, avoiding their eyes. It's fine, she replies softly, her voice barely audible over the cafe's background noise. But Titi notices. She always does. She leans forward, her tone dropping to one of gentle concern. Jumoke, you don't sound fine. What is going on? Olajumoke hesitates, her finger gripping the handle of her coffee mug, as though it's the only thing grounding her. Her eyes dart around the cafe, as if searching for an escape, but there is none. Slowly, she exhales. It's, it's not what I expected, she begins, her voice trembling. Kunle is different. He's distant, always busy. He comes home late most nights. Uh, and she pauses, swallowing hard. Sometimes it smells like another woman's perfume. The words hang in the air, heavy and raw. Funke's playfulness vanishes. Her expression hardens with disbelief. Perfume? Are you serious? Titi places a hand over Olajumoke's, her voice steady but firm. Have you talked to him about it? I've tried, Olajumoke replies, her voice breaking. But he brushes me off. He says he's working, that I am imagining things. She shakes her head, blinking back tears. I don't know what to do. I've prayed. I've done everything Mama taught me. I've cooked his favorite meals, keep the house spotless, but it's like I don't exist to him anymore. Funke scoffs, leaning back in the chair. Jumoke, men like Kunle, we keep taking you for granted until you set boundaries. Respect doesn't come from silence. Titi nods in agreement, her tone gentle but resolute. Funke is right. You can't carry this alone. Marriage isn't just about endurance, Jumoke. It's about partnership. A man needs to know when he is wrong. I don't even know where to start, Olajumoke admits finally, her voice barely over a whisper. What if he gets angry? What if it makes things worse? Titi squeezes her hand, offering a reassuring smile. Starts with a conversation. Not an argument, just a conversation. Tell him how you feel. If he loves you, and I believe he does. He will listen. Funke interjects, her voice more forceful. And if he doesn't, then you decide how much you are willing to take. You are not just his wife, Jumoke. You are a person, and your feelings matter. The conversation shifts momentarily as Titi and Fuke share their own experience. Titi talks about how she and her husband navigated their struggles through open communication, while Funke shares how she demanded respect early in her marriage and how it set the tone for everything that followed. You know, Funke says, people used to call me wayward, but look at me now. Three kids, a thriving marriage, and peace of mind. You deserve that too, Jumoke. Olajumoke listens intently, their words planting seeds of courage and self worth within her. She feels a flicker of hope, small but significant. I'll think about it, she says finally, her voice steadier now. Titi smiles, reaching across the table to touch her arm. Good. And if you need us, we are here, always. As they leave the cafe, Olajumoke clutches her bag tightly, her face a mix of determination and uncertainty. Olajumoke began to see that her silence was not strength, and while the path ahead remained uncertain, she knew one thing: change begins with a single step. The evening is quiet, the kind of stillness that amplifies every sound. In the dining room, a table is set meticulously with Kule's favorite dishes. Olajumoke moves around the room nervously. Tonight, she has decided will be the night she finds her voice. Her heart races, torn between fear and a desperate need for answers. Kule walks in, his face etched with exhaustion. He offers a half-hearted greeting, his eyes scanning the food before settling into his chair. Good evening, Olajumoke says softly, her voice tentative but laced with an undertone of determination. Kule nods, serving himself already. The sound of his spoon against the ceramic bowl fills the silence as he eats, not once looking up. Olajumoke sits across from him. She watches him for a moment, searching for the man she once knew, the man who had whispered promises of love and partnership during their honeymoon. But all she sees is a wall, an emotional distance that feels insurmountable. Kunle, she begins, her voice trembling slightly. I need to talk to you. Hmm? He murmurs, not looking at her. Her heart sinks, but she presses on. I feel like I feel like there's something wrong between us. You are distant. I feel neglected. At this, Kunle finally looks up, his expression blank. What are you talking about, Jumoke? You are imagining things. The casual dismissal cuts deep, but Olajumoke persists, her voice gaining strength. Kunle, I am not imagining things. You come home late. You barely speak to me. And she hesitates, her chest tightening. And I found a message on your phone from someone named Angela. Are you seeing her? Kule's reaction is immediate. His spoon clatters against his plate as he slams it down, the sound echoing in the room. You went through my phone? He says, his voice sharp with anger. Unbelievable, Jumoke. Is this what marriage has turned you into? A snoop? Olajumoke flinches at his tone, but refuses to back down. I didn't want to go through your phone, Kunle, but you left me no choice. You are not the same man I married. I need to know what is going on. Kunle stands abruptly, pushing his chair back with a screech. What is going on is that you are paranoid. Instead of appreciating everything I do for this family, you are busy looking for things that don't exist. Tears well up in Olajumoke's eyes, but she doesn't look away. Kunle, I love you, but I can't keep pretending everything is fine when it's not. Please, just be honest with me. Kunle's jaws tightens, his anger simmering just beneath the surface. You want honesty? Fine. Yes, Angela is a colleague and we are close. But that's it. If you can't trust me, then maybe you are the one with the problem. His words feel like a slap. The room spinning around Olajumoke. She opens her mouth to respond, but Kule storms out before she can utter another word. The door slams shut, and the silence that follows is deafening. Olajumoke stands frozen, her hands trembling as she stares at the empty doorway. Slowly, she sinks to the floor, the weight of her emotions pulling her down. Tears stream down her face as she clutches her Bible, her only source of solace. Lord, she whispers through sobs, help me. I don't know what to do. I feel so lost. The next morning, Olajumoke's mind echoes with Funke's words from their last conversation. You can't carry this alone, Jumoke. Come to the seminar with me. You'll see you're not as powerless as you think. With a deep breath, Olajumoke dresses up, picks up her bag, and steps outside. Today, she decides, will be different. The seminar is being held in a brightly lit community center. The walls adorned with posters bearing slogans like Empowered Women, Empower Others, and Strength Through Resilience. The room buzzes with energy, women of all ages and backgrounds, chatting, exchanging stories, and laughing. Olajumoke hesitates at the entrance, feeling like an outsider. Funke spots her immediately and waves enthusiastically. Jumoke, over here! She calls out, her voice warm and welcoming. Funke pulls her into a hug, then guides her to a seat near the front. You are going to love this, she whispers. These women have been through so much, and they've come out stronger. You'll see. As the seminar begins, Olajumoke listens intently to the keynote speaker, a vibrant woman named Mrs. Adebayo, whose presence commands the room. I used to think my worth was tied to how much I endured. Mrs. Adebayo begins, her voice steady and powerful. I thought being silent made me strong, but silence is not strength. Strength is speaking up. It's taking control of your life, one step at a time. The audience nods, murmuring their agreement. Olajumoke feels a flicker of recognition, her heart resonating with those words. The seminar progresses with a panel of women sharing their personal journeys one by one. They speak of challenges that mirror Olajumoke's own: broken marriages, societal expectations, lost dreams. One woman, a seamstress named Bola, recounts how she left an abusive marriage with nothing but the clothes on her back. I started over, Bola says, her voice thick with emotion. I taught myself to sew, and now I run my own business. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Another, a young widow named Kemi, talks about rediscovering her purpose through education. I thought my life was over when I lost my husband, she says, but I realized I could still be someone for myself, not just for others. Each story is a thread, weaving tapestry of hope and resilience. Olajumoke's eyes filled with tears as she listens, the walls she's built around her pain slowly crumbling. During a break, Funke introduces Olajumoke to some of the speakers. This is my friend I told you about, Funke says. She's just starting to find her way. Mrs. Adebayo takes Olajumoke's hands, her gaze kind but firm. Finding your way starts with knowing your worth, my dear, she says. You are more than what you endure. What do you dream of doing? The question catches Olajumoke off guard. No one had asked her that in years. She thinks for a moment, then says quietly, I used to love cooking. I want to run a catering business someday. Then start. Mrs. Adebayo simply replies, start small, but start. Your dreams don't have to wait for permission. As the seminar ends, Olajumoke feels a shift within her. That evening, she sits at the dining table and begins writing. She lists her skills, her interests, and her dreams, no matter how small or unrealistic they seem. Slowly, a plan begins to form. Over the next few weeks, Olajumoke takes small but meaningful steps. She attends more seminars, learns basic business skills from free workshops, and begins connecting with women who inspire her. She starts experimenting with recipes in her kitchen, documenting each one meticulously. Her confidence grew with every step. She no longer waits for Kunle's approval or attention, focusing instead on rediscovering herself. The unraveling of Kunle's life begins quietly, like a distant thunderstorm. Angela, the confident and flashy colleague who once captured his attention, starts to pull away. At first, her excuses are subtle: cancelled dinner plans, unanswered calls, but soon it becomes clear she has moved on to someone else, a man with more power, more influence. Kunle tries to hold on, but Angela's final words cut like a knife. You were fun, Kunle. You were fun, she says, dismissively. I need someone who can take me higher. You are stuck. Her words linger, haunting him. Kunle began to have issues at work. Meanwhile, at home, Olajumoke is no longer the quiet, dependent woman he once knew. The house buzzes with her activity, preparing new recipes for potential clients, making phone calls to finalize catering orders, and jotting ideas in a notebook. One evening, Kunle arrives home to find Olajumoke at the dining table, surrounded by neatly packaged trays of food. What's all this? He asks, his voice tinged with curiosity and, for the first time, a hint of insecurity. Orders, Olajumoke replies, not looking up from her notebook. I'm catering for a small event tomorrow. Kunle asked, catering? Since when do you do that? She glances at him briefly, her tone steady. Since I decided to stop waiting for life to happen and started making it happen. Her words strike like a chord. Though Kunle says nothing, he goes to the bedroom. The weeks pass, and the dynamics of their relationship continue to shift. Olajumoke's confidence grows with every success. She attends seminars, networks with other women entrepreneurs, and even begins hosting small workshops to inspire others. Kunle watches from the sidelines, his unease growing. The woman who once sought his validation now moves through life with a quiet self-assurance that both intimidates and fascinates him. One evening, Kunle comes home earlier than usual. He notices Olajumoke's absence and glances at the clock. It's past 7 p.m. Moments later, the front door opens and Olajumoke steps in, dressed sharply in a fitted Ankara dress, her makeup flawless and her head held high. Kunle looks from the couch, startled by her appearance. Where are you coming from? He asks, his voice betraying his unease. An event, she replies casually. But you didn't tell me you were going out, Kunle said. Olajumoke meets his gaze. I didn't think I needed to, she says, her tone firm but devoid of malice. Kunle's discomfort deepens. What is going on with you, Jumoke? He asks, his voice lower now. You have changed. She smiles faintly. Yes, I have changed, she says. I have learned that I can't keep pouring into someone who doesn't pour back. I am building the life I deserve, Kunle. Her words rendered him speechless, and for the first time, he sees her not as the quiet, obedient wife, but as a woman rediscovering her power. As Olajumoke walks past him towards the bedroom, Kunle sits in stunned silence. In his quest for control, Kunle had lost sight of the most valuable thing in his life, Olajumoke's love and loyalty, and now she found herself. He was left grappling with the emptiness of his choices. The quiet tension in Olajumoke's marriage reaches a boiling point. Though her business thrives and she gains newfound independence, the cracks in her relationship with Kunle continue to widen. One fateful evening, Olajumoke prepares a simple dinner, expecting Kunle to return early. She notices his mood has been darker lately, and despite her growing strength, she feels a pang of guilt. Perhaps have been too focused on myself, she thinks. Maybe tonight we can reconnect. The hours tick by, the food grows cold. Kunle doesn't answer her calls. When Kunle finally walks in, close to midnight, he reeks of alcohol. His tie hangs loosely around his neck and his shirt is untucked. Kunle, Olajumoke begins, her voice calm but firm. Where have you been? Have been calling you. He waves her off, dropping his briefcase carelessly on the floor. Work, he mutters, heading towards the bedroom. No, Olajumoke says, stepping in front of him. Not this time. You are going to tell me the truth. Where were you? Kunle glares at her, his patience visibly wearing thin. Why does it matter, Jumoke? You've got your life now, don't you? Your little business, your event. What do you care where I go? His words sting, but Olajumoke stands her ground. I care because I am your wife, Kunle. But it's clear you don't care about this marriage anymore. Kunle laughs bitterly, his voice dripping with sarcasm. This marriage. Oh, now you want to talk about the marriage? Where was this concern when you were out playing businesswoman, acting like you don't need me? The argument escalates, each word sharper than the last. Kunle accuses her of neglecting him, while Jumoke confronts him about his infidelity and lack of support. The tension boils over when Kunle hurls an insult that cuts deeply. You are not even the woman I married anymore. You are nothing but a shadow of what you think success looks like. Silence falls. For a moment, the weight of his words hang in the air, suffocating. Olajumoke's hands tremble, but not from fear. They tremble with the realization that she has reached a breaking point. You are right, she says quietly, her voice steady. I'm not the woman you married. I've grown. I've found myself, and I refuse to stay in a marriage where I am disrespected and unvalued. Kule scoffs. What are you saying? I am saying I'm done, Kule. I am done. She replies, her voice unyielding. This marriage is over. The next morning, Olajumoke sits across from her mother in the family living room. Her decision made, but her heart heavy. Mama Bisi is visibly distraught, her hands wringing nervously. Olajumoke, what is this nonsense I'm hearing? Separation. Do you want to bring shame to this family? Mama, it's not about shame. It's about my sanity. Olajumoke replies firmly. I have tried, Mama. I have prayed. I have endured. I have done everything you taught me to do. But this marriage is killing me. Mama Bisi's eyes fill with tears. But what will people say? Our community, our church, they will call you a failure, a woman who couldn't keep her home together. Olajumoke looks at her mother, her resolve unwavering. For once, Mama, I will think about what I say, about what I feel. I am not a failure because Kunle could not value me. Staying in a toxic marriage does not make me a good wife. It makes me a prisoner. Her mother shakes her head, struggling to accept her daughter's words. Marriage is not meant to be easy, Jumoke. It's for better or worse. And where is Kole in this? Better or worse, Mama? He has broken his vows, ignored me, and made me feel invisible. I deserve better than this. Olajumoke returns to her home, packs her belongings. Kunle arrives as she is finishing. His expression, a mixture of confusion and anger. So that's it? He asks. You are just going to walk away? Olajumoke pauses. Kunle, I am not walking away. You pushed me away. I begged for your love, your respect, your partnership, and you gave me nothing. I am choosing myself now. For the first time, Kunle looks truly lost, his bravado crumbling. But Olajumoke doesn't linger. She picks up her bags and walks out of the door. In choosing herself, Olajumoke found a freedom she never thought possible. It wasn't the end of her story, it was the beginning of a new one. A story of strength, resilience, and the courage to walk away from what no longer served her. Kunle, sitting alone in their now quiet home, the living room, once bustling with Olajumoke's presence, feels hollow. He stares at the dining table, where her carefully prepared meals used to greet him after long days. Her absence weighs on him, and the realization hits harder than he expected. He had taken her for granted. Kule picks up his phone, his hands trembling. He scrolls through his contacts, hesitating before calling Jumoke. Kunle, he swallows hard. Jumoke, I, I am sorry. I'm sorry for everything. Please, can we talk? Olajumoke agreed for them to meet at the cafe. I know I don't deserve your time, Kunle begins, his voice heavy with guilt. But I'm here to ask for another chance. I messed up, Jumoke. I didn't value you, and I let my pride ruin what we had. Olajumoke studies him, her expression unreadable. Kunle, I tried to make this work. I prayed for us, fought for us, but you shut me out. I know, Kunle admits, and I was wrong. I see that now. Have hurt you in ways I can't undo, but I want to make it right. I'll do anything. Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. Just don't give up on me yet, please. Kunle, he says softly, this is not about me giving up. It's about whether you are ready to be the partner I deserve. I am, he says firmly. I want to see the therapist you talked about. I am ready to do the work. Dr. Adebayo, the same therapist Olajumoke had visited earlier, welcomes the couple into her office. Dr. Adebayo begins gently. Kunle, I'm glad you are here. It takes courage to face these issues. Let's start with why you wanted to come to therapy. Kunle exhales deeply, his shoulders slumping slightly. I love my wife, he says, glancing at Olajumoke. I always have, but somewhere along the way, I, I stopped showing it. I alter and I want to fix it. Dr. Adebayo nods encouragingly. That's a good start. Now, Kunle, can you be honest about what changed? Why did you stop showing your love? Kunle hesitates, his gaze dropping to the floor. It's hard to admit, he says finally, but I started feeling unsatisfied. Not with her as a person. Jumoke is amazing. She cooks, she cleans, and prays. She's everything a man could ask for. But he pauses, his voice faltering. But what? Olajumoke presses. Her tone tinged with frustration. Kunle looks at her, his face pained. But I didn't feel desired. On the surface, everything was perfect. But in the bedroom, it felt like something was missing. You are always shy, Jumoke. I am always the one initiating. There is no excitement, no foreplay. I thought maybe it was because you were a virgin when we got married. Like, you never really learned how to stop. Olajumoke interrupts, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and hurt. You're saying all this now? After everything I've done to make this marriage work? I'm saying it now because I was too afraid to say it before, Kule replies, his voice rising slightly. Society doesn't let men talk about these things, Jumoke. We are expected to be strong, to take everything in silence. I bottled it up because I thought that's what a man is supposed to do. Dr. Adebayo steps in, her voice calm but firm. This is a safe space for honesty, Jumoke, and it's important for you both to understand each other's needs. Kunle, have you thought about how your silence affected Jumoke? And Jumoke, can you see where Kunle is coming from? The room falls silent, the couple processing her words. Finally, Olajumoke speaks, her voice softer now. I didn't know you felt this way, Kunle. You never told me. How was I supposed to fix something I didn't know was broken? Kunle nods. I know and I'm sorry. I should have spoken up instead of letting it pile up. I let my pride get in the way. Dr. Adebayo guides them through an exercise, asking each of them to share one thing they love about each other and one thing they would like to improve. I love how strong you are, Jumoke, Kunle says, his voice filled with sincerity. And I would like us to work on being more connected, emotionally and physically. I love your ambition, Kunle, Olajumoke replies after a pause. But I need you to be more present, not just in our marriage, but in my life. The therapy sessions continue over weeks, and slowly progress is made. Kunle learns to communicate his feelings openly, while Olajumoke begins to explore ways to bring intimacy and romance back into their marriage. One evening, Olajumoke surprises Kunle with a romantic dinner, complete with soft music and candles. As they eat, she shyly admits, I've been reading about intimacy. I want us to try new things together. Kunle smiles, reaching for her hand. I would like that. I want us to grow together, Jumoke. The couple starts carving out time for each other. Date nights, open conversations, and shared moments of vulnerability. Kunle and Olajumoke found their way back to each other, not through perfection, but through patience, understanding, and a shared commitment to love anew. The couple organized a small gathering in their home. Kunle clinks a glass to get everyone's attention. The chatter dies down, and all eyes turned to him. He clears his throat, his smile warm and genuine. Thank you for all coming tonight, he begins. This gathering means a lot to us, not just because it's a chance to celebrate with friends and family, but because it marks a new chapter in our lives. He glances at Olajumoke, his voice softening. To my wife, who has taught me what it means to truly love and to grow, I wouldn't be standing here without you. Olajumoke blushes and reaches for his hand. To love, Kunle continues, raising his glass, and to the journey it takes us on, through the highs, the lows, and everything in between. The guests raise their glasses, their chairs filling the room. Kunle wraps his arm around Olajumoke's shoulders, pulling her close. We've come a long way, he says, his voice filled with quiet pride. Olajumoke nods, and we have built something beautiful, she replies. And so Olajumoke's journey comes to a close for now. What would you have done in her shoes? Drop a comment below and let us know what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed this interesting tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for more captivating stories. Your support means the world to me, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, remember, sometimes the hardest battles lead to the most beautiful victories.